Hey guys, Bump here, bringing you another Mythic Plus playthrough commentary video. Today we're taking a look at Mist of Tirnat Shrine, a plus 15, where I'm actually running a new build, which I haven't run that much this expansion. I'm picking up Infected Claws and Bursting Sores in conjunction with Unholy Assault. This brings a totally different playstyle. It's quite fun to play, but very interesting. I'm running the Heirmir soulbind, and then just picking up the Eternal Hunger Conduit, and then just going straight down the tree to pick up the crit buff. So I have not played this too much, so I will make quite a lot of mistakes, including dying, like I just do here. But the main idea when running Infected Claws and Bursting Sores is to set up your Festering Runes a lot more compared to when running Holy Blight. I even got stuck here. So the idea here is just like before, you will do Festering Strike tabbing as you engage the pack, but you will do it in a much more controlled manner and focus a lot more on it, because your damage is directly proportional to the amount of Festering Runes you put up. And then obviously you need to know the duration of the pack, so you don't spend too much time setting up the wounds, and then you need to get used to it. We also don't have Unholy Light to apply our Villain Plague, which is interesting. You might see me not applying it at all. I will forget. I feel like something that works quite well, tank runs into a pack, hasn't gathered it up yet. What you do is just start out with some festering strikes. First button you press is a festering strike, and there's just one mob before they all get together. And then you can always use outbreak once it's gathered up, and then go into your normal burst window. For an opening rotation on any given pack, you might have already seen me do this, but do these festering strikes, get out an Unholy Assault, tap through some festering strikes, make sure to spend your runic power by dumping your epidemics, and then you can also use Apocalypse if you have it, and then you go into your Death and Decay window and go ham. And as I mentioned previously, it is tricky. If you're running with a group where everyone's just bursting a lot, you might end up in situations where, you're halfway through your opener and the pack is nearly dead, right? And then you've clearly done something wrong because you kind of anticipated the pack to live longer than it actually did. So, yeah. Anyway, let's actually have a look at gameplay. I go into this pack, it kind of gathers up quite quickly, so I can outbreak ASAP. I dump my runic power, pop down my Death and Decay, and then I make sure to burst all those wounds. And this is kind of like this is kind of a shortest pack, only used 2 festering strikes, right? So it wasn't too long of a setup. And I didn't come out top there on the DPS, but I was fine. Successfully managed to steal that mushroom from whoever tried to get it before me. Alright. Start of the dungeon, you might have seen me not popping off army, and that's quite an obvious thing when you're running an Unholy Assault, because you will never get it up before the first boss. It won't take 8 minutes for you from the start of the key to get into the first boss, unless you're messing up royally, and at that point, you shouldn't plan for that anyway. If you're running Army of the Damned, it is a bit different. Then it depends entirely on the group DPS. If it's fortified and you're not doing insane damage, armying on the first pack in this dungeon is viable. Like, you can definitely get it up for when you need it. However, it's risky, and I kind of sometimes feel like I don't know if the benefit of getting some extra damage on that first pack outweighs the kind of risk of not having army up for the first boss. Because you might see the first boss is critical to kill in his first kind of damage taking phase. Obviously you can keep going, but like if you don't kill him in the first phase, it's just going to take you so much longer. This pride here before the boss is quite nice because you are safe to use like all cooldowns, which are like 1 minute plus, or not 2 minutes, but quite a lot. Because you kill this pride, then you have to kill the first ad of the boss, and then you go to burst window, and you only use your cooldowns at the burst windows. So there's quite a long time before you actually have to use your cooldowns. So that makes it very safe You know, pop off Apocalypse at the start of this Pride, pop off Blight and Dark Transformation, that kind of thing. You know, I'm not running Blight, so I only kind of have Dark Transformation. So it wasn't too many things to use there. Take advantage of that. This boss here, tab through to the boss guy to interrupt him. It's a good idea to pop down Deafening K quite early, because this is kind of the only opportunity you have to do any cleave damage, and it's kind of like free damage, so why not? I pop off army very early, so you know 40% something, because I know that boss is about to go into his damage window. I want my army up and running before that happens. If you use army too late, it's going to take like 5-10 seconds to get out of the ground. You lose tons of damage. So pre-army when the ad is at like 40%, and then as soon as he gets close to going into damage phase, just pop everything. You can see there that I probably did this better than Shusei here. I think he was a bit late with his army, and that makes a big difference. You can see my damage there was quite a lot higher specifically. Here's a fun thing you can do as a Death Knight. So this pack here to the right, you can't pull that through the wall anymore. However, you can send your Timmy over to get him. Just use some pet attack macro or pet attack keybind or whatever. I actually initially fail here because I sent him off, and then I used one of my buttons which has this / pet target claw thing in it, and that makes the pet kind of forget where he was going, so he started running back again. So I had to send him over once more. We can see he died there. That's evidence that he did his job properly, and we can see the ads coming through. All right, so it's a good kind of opener. So start off with Unholy Assault, tab to Festering Strike, tab back to Apocalypse, dump my Epidemics, and then go into Deafening K, Scorch Strike Week. I noticed here that it's Sanguine Week, right? It's very difficult to see Sanguine in Mist because it's like kind of like purple on purple. Yeah, you can see me there. I was pointing towards them and when I was explaining this to my friend. These guys that does the fucking rampage, always stun them right after they start. If you stun them during their channel, sure they will stop the channel, but they just start off right off the bat when they're not stunned anymore. Unluckily, we didn't get the best path here because we didn't gain anything from me pulling those mobs into our original room. Otherwise, you would have like extra percentage from that, which can be quite advantageous, specifically for the first boss, because sometimes that allows you to time your pride better, which is nice. Alright, another pack, popping up Dark Transformation, going some Festering Strike Cleaves, dumping my Runic Power, and then going into my Deafening K window. This is what it looks like most of the time. As you can see here, I'm popping off 20k DPS on these 4 or 5 mobs, really showing up the power of this build. I didn't use Unholy Assault or Apocalypse there. Maybe they weren't really ready. I did find it a bit awkward with Apocalypse, honestly, because it's a G2D you kind of spend, which delays your burst a little bit, and if a pack dies very quickly, that can be a bad thing, right? I think I've been slightly bad with my inscrutable quantum device usage here. It should be used on cooldown pretty much. I used it here again, but I didn't notice actually if it wasn't cooldown up before. But generally, I've said this a lot, but honestly, it makes a ton of a difference. Use your cooldowns when they come up. Like, it sucks to sit and hold your cooldowns unless you specifically need to do so. Examples where you actually need to hold your cooldowns is before boss, which damage is going to be critical to kill it. Think Hakar in the other side, right? For Hakar, you want to have everything up so you can burst them down so you don't wipe. But usually, you kind of don't need all your cooldowns for like Lost with Boss or whatever. You still do lots of damage. So it's much better to just use them cooldown and get more of them out there instead of holding them and then losing lots of value. This is my classical thing to do. You know, on every single pride, just use your AMZ. Sure, AMZ can be used on other stuff, which also does magic damage, but it's difficult to get value out of it, right? Pride, you always get value because you always negate some kind of damage, and that's great. It allows you to leverage that utility without having to be too complicated about it. Alright, see this pack, so we got Limb. We actually had Unholy Assault biceps. There we go. I would have personally, I am actually playing here, but in hindsight, I would have used Unholy Assault as my first GCD, usually. It kind of, maybe it doesn't matter too much. Unholy Assault is nice to use as first GCD because it gives you a haste buff, right? And that's nice for your pet because that allows you to go use more of the sweeping claws, which translates to more wounds, which means more damage. It's not too important though. Mist is quite nice because like all the packs are kind of grouped up from the start, so you don't have to like delay your outbreak, which feels good. Here's another very classical pack. We'll have Dark Transformation. I'm using my double Festering Strike and then go into my burst window. And there we go, 20k again, just like that. You need to be careful with your if you're running Limb here. It can grip the ads that does the rampage thing, and it doesn't interrupt with grip. So what happens is that you can grip them accidentally, and then they instantly whack you off because the AoE can just instantly kill you. So do be careful with that. Don't want that happening. Look at that. Classic. So here I'm just tabbing through, kind of trying to find a target which has 4 wounds on it. That can be tricky to do, right? Because it's not necessarily so that you can just tab and get it instantly. But I did find something there. My advice is just keep pressing tab until you get to the right target, and then you just pop off Apocalypse when you do find something with 4 wounds. You can also just manually click the health bars of the mobs if you want to. I was going to talk about Clawing Shadows. Start of the expansion, my first 3 videos, I think I've run Infected Claws every time. However, Clawing Shadows have truly grown on me in a Mythic Plus setting, specifically in Mists. It's very good, actually. So, what Clawing Shadows allows you to do is get off your Death and K window every time without having to worry about tank kiting out the ads. So, just for clarity, when you are standing in Death and K, your Clawing Shadows Scorch Strike will cleave. And this is not based on whether or not the ads are in your Death and K, it's only based on you. So you can stand your Death and K, and that will make your Clawing Shadows or Scorch Strike cleave. So with Clawing Shadows, that means that you can put it on Death and K, and then cleave on a pack, 30 yards away. And the AoE, which it cleaves on, is around the target you're hitting. And this is the really useful bit. So, stand your Death and K, tank kite away, you can just stand put and keep running, keep going with those Clawing Shadows cleaves, and not have to worry about missing out on that damage window. Enshrine with those Buckham Rampage dudes is actually extremely nice because you don't have to risk standing in the pack and kind of get knocked off or dying. You can just stand far away and essentially act as a ranged AoE. I actually feel like, if you're not running Bursting Swords, I would actually pick up Clawing Shadows anytime, every dungeon. It's just so nice. It brings so much utility. And yeah, I'm going to make sure to record some videos when I actually use that, and you can see really how much utility and how much damage it enables. It is substantial. So you can see here, people really don't use Unholy Assault lots. On single targets, you want to use it right after the Apocalypse to get that haste buff for the Apocalypse ghouls. It feels bad to play because you will overcap on something, usually runes, but that's just how it is, how it plays. So don't worry too much if you overcap. Yeah. Showcase the way there to get rid of the ad. If you put AMS, you won't get stunned. So what you can do is just run into it and allow it to stun you, and then nothing happens and it's done. Do be careful, because if you do this close to anyone, they will get stunned. If you do this close to your pets will get stunned, and that kind of sucks because that's just a big damage loss. Alright, second boss down. We are making good progress here. Let's see, we have our inscrutable content device up. Let's see if I actually use it. If I do remember correctly, I think I do, but let's just keep a close eye on that. I do apologize for my camera being so large, because I got all my weak auras over here and you can't see them. And I don't know why, but that was just me yesterday that had like a huge camera on my face. So yeah. Good example. So we go in. We could have actually used Outbreak as the first GCD here, but just Fester. They don't deal much damage when you do actually use them there, but it's excellent setup. Especially when the tank is gathering stuff up, because you can't really do AoE damage at that point. So these Festering Strikes, they are essentially AoE damage, but just delayed. So it's like hitting a Scorch Strike with 2 or 3 wounds in a pack of 5, but you're doing it on one guy before the pack actually started. So that's kind of like gaining some damage by just setting up nicely. We do that same here. So Outbreak there would have been a bad idea, because I wouldn't have hit anything. So just to delay that a little bit and use the Festering Strike instead. That's a big damage pack. Anytime you use Abomination Limb, you're going to deal tons of damage because that ability just pumps. There we go. I did use my Scrutable Content Device on the previous pack, so that was good job by me. Let's see. We have Assault ready. Are we going to use it? Yes, we are. Good job. Use your cooldowns when they come up. And Apocalypse. Let's go. I should have used Apocalypse there. I had 4 wounds up already, but I opted to go for the Defencate Cleave. But now I'm kind of going to lose a cast of Apocalypse. Apocalypse is just free damage, right? It deals the ghouls come up. They do single target damage, sure, but it's just free damage. So why not use it? Ooh, another classical pull. Dark Transformation into the double Festering. There we go. Nice Apocalypse there, and then soon we can go in our Defencate Cleave. I probably delayed it too much there. Like, if you're Defencate Cleaving on a pack where everything's like 20% health already, you probably lose out on your burst. So in hindsight, should have done it earlier. But that just comes to show that it's difficult to gauge the length of the pack. Like I get it wrong all the time. But as long as you kind of get it right, most of the time, you're good to go. Just don't screw it up every time, then that's going to be a problem. Let's see. Unholy Assault here. Am I going to use it? I'm a bit rusty here, so I don't pay too much attention to Unholy Assault cooldown, which I should be doing. Like Unholy Assault in the sky would have been a good idea. I would have gotten full value out of that CD. But oh well. Good example of a pack. We don't Outbreak first GCD here. Probably a third GCD, something like that. Start out with the Festering Strikes. There we go, and then Outbreak. Outbreak. Hello. Okay. Apparently no Outbreak. There we go. That's a bit late, biceps. I should have used Outbreak earlier. It was fine though. It lived for such a short amount of time, so I didn't really lose much. Yeah, our mistake. We didn't pick up the pod right after the second boss. You can activate a pod with your Night Fae, and that moves the spawn location much further into the dungeon, which you obviously should do, but whoever's Night Fae had didn't do it. Okay, Assault there, good. You will notice, so when you're running Blight, your main damage source in AoE is based on runic power. It's your Epidemic, right? When you're running bursting swords, that is no longer the case. And this kind of moves the priority of not overcapping runic power a bit further down in the list. So you will have instances where you overcap runic power because you're setting up your wounds, and I think that's kind of fine. I did that there. I think I was talking about it here as well, but it's okay to overcap runic power to kind of spread your wounds around. So here we decide to not kill the pack, and instead go boss in order to avoid pride. And I think this is a bit of a mistake, because we can see my army got 1 minute left. So if we actually kill a pack, get pride, I can use army, Tuesday can use army, we would have killed this boss in like 20 seconds. But what happens here is that we're going to have this slow kill, because no one have their cooldowns. We kind of don't have lost, or we're waiting for lost. And I'm also going to die twice, because I'm bad. Which is also one thing. Look at that. Oh, okay, I dodged it. Those duels, they hurt a lot. So if you stand in those ones, that's pretty much an instant death. Alright, so soon going to start off my army and then promptly die, if I remember correctly. Which is unfortunate, you know. Could have done that better, but happens. Like here. Boop. Too busy popping my cooldowns. Yeah. I'm gonna get rest up here. Gonna pop my army. And then again, promptly die. Look at that. Nope, don't run that way. Yeah. So I was lazy. You should just run out. Like, I ran towards the other guy, and his blobster came towards me, and I ended up in a situation where I couldn't get out. But that's part of running it. Like, sometimes you make mistakes. I'm not claiming that I'm a mistake-free person. What I'm trying to do is help everyone to get better, including myself, when possible. Alright, you can see that Tuesday he kind of beat me with a lot on that pull, essentially because he got off his cooldowns and didn't die, and I kind of put my cooldowns and just died. Here's an interesting pull in a way. I don't know if it would happen, but yeah. Sometimes you won't see me do it a lot, but if you go into a pool with like 0 resources, it can happen. You can end up in situations where you do your double festing strike, and then kind of you don't have any runes. You use all the epidemics. That's not a good idea. That's not a good time to pop your Omnidiffin K. If you're out of runes, just wait a couple seconds and then pop down your Omnidiffin K. Anyway, that was that run. I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I hope you find it useful. Do you leave a comment down below if you have anything to say. If you do leave an upvote down below, depending on what you thought about this video. And do consider subscribing if you want to see more of this kind of content. You can find me on Twitch. I'm streaming on Sundays and Wednesdays usually. And you can find me on the Acros Discord. Always happy to answer questions there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more content. Thank you.